So a composite shape is a shape that is made up of more than one. And in Year 9, students are expected to know how to find the area of a composite shape. So it could be something like a house where you've got a square with a triangle on the top of it. And you can see that across here we could split this shape into the two of them and we could find the area that way. There are some harder ones where you might be asked to find the area of a shaded section. So, for example, you could have a backyard and there is a water feature that's a circle in part of the yard, and then you might have a garden bed here, and you need to work out how much lawn you're going to need, which will be all of this section here, in which case you would need to know how to find the area of the composite shape, because you would need to do the area of the rectangle and then take out the area of the circle and the rectangle, which is the water feature and the garden bed. So if we had to find the area of this shape here, you can see it's an L shape, but we can split the shape into two different shapes and be able to find it. So what we'll do is I'll split it. It doesn't matter how you split it. For some shapes it might make it easier to split it in a certain way, but I'm just going to drop a line down there, and I'm going to call this part area 1 and this part area 2. So to calculate area 1, we've got a rectangle and we've got length times width, that means. So we're going to do length times width. We've got one measurement here, 4 metres. We don't know what this measurement is. And if we have a look at the other side, you can see that it's 4 metres to here and then another 4 metres. So it must be 8 metres wide. So we would do 4 times 8 because it's length times width. So that's 32 metres squared, remembering to put our units. And then we've got area 2, which is just this rectangle here. And you can see this side is 4 metres. So we need to work out what this part is. Now the whole distance is 8 across here. And we know that the width or the length of that first rectangle was only 4, so this one must be 4 as well. So then to do area 2, it would be 4 times 4 to give us 16 square metres. But our question's not finished. We actually need to do the total area because it asks to find the area of that shape. So total area I just write as TA. So total area is area 1 plus area 2 for this example, which would give us 48 square metres. Okay, so our second shape is another composite one in the shape of an arrow. You can see that there's two distinct shapes here across there. So we'll do it again. We'll write area 1 and then area 2. Now area 1 is a triangle. And our formula for that is base times height divided by 2, or half the base times the height, depending on how your child has learnt it. Both are the same thing. Halving the base times the height is the same as doing half the base times the height. So if we have a look, we need to figure out a measurement for our base. So our base goes from this point all the way over to this point here. So we have 1.5 metres each side to here. And you'll notice that dotted blue line that I've drawn across is 4 metres because you can see it from the base down here. So we've got 4 plus 1.5 plus 1.5, which gives us 7. So the base is 7, and it tells us that the height is 6. So then we're going to do divided by 2. 42 divided by 2 is 21 square metres. To do area 2, we have a square, and you can see it's 4 by 4. So we would do 4 times 4, which is 16 square metres. And then, of course, to get our final answer, we need to add the two together, which would give us 37 square metres for this shape. Our third example looks like a running track, and we're trying to find the area of the inside of it. So you can see at each end you've got a semicircle. So if we put both of those semicircles together, we would end up with a full circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to label both of these as area 1, because what we're going to calculate is we're going to calculate that as a full circle. And to do that, we use the formula of pi times the radius squared. Now, if we have a look, the radius goes from the centre of the circle to the edge, and you can see that's given here by the 6 centimetres. So to do our calculation, we would do pi times 6 squared. And to one decimal place on your calculator, you should get 113.1 centimetres squared. Now we need to do area 2. Now area 2 is just this rectangle in the middle here. However, we do have to work out what this side, the width of the rectangle. So we've got the length here, which is 18. So it's going to be length times width. So we would do 18 times, and we need to work out what that full diameter of the circle is. So we know that the radius is 6. The diameter is double that because it goes straight across the centre of the circle. So it would mean that this side here is 12. So it would be 18 times 12, which gives you 216 centimetres squared. And then, of course, we need the total area again, and we do area 1 plus area 2, which would give you 329.1 centimetres squared. So our fourth example is a worded problem, and it says a rectangular lawn of length 50 metres and breadth, which is another word for width, is 35 metres, is to be surrounded externally by a path which is 2 metres wide. Find the cost of turfing the path at the rate of $3 per square metre. So when you get a worded problem, the first step is to always draw yourself a diagram. So we've got a rectangular lawn, which is 50 metres long. It really doesn't look like a 0. Let's try that again. 50 metres long and 35 metres wide. It then says it's surrounded by a path which is 2 metres wide. So it means that around the whole edge of this lawn, we've got a path that is 2 metres wide. I'm just going to write it in here. So it's 2 metres wide the whole way around. So the first step, you've got to think, we're trying to actually find the area of just the path. So we need to work out the area of the entire shape plus the area of the lawn before we can even do anything. So we'll start by doing the area of the lawn. The area of the lawn is A1. Okay, and I'm just going to write there that it's the lawn. So that would be 50 times 35. Which is 1,750 metres squared. What we're going to do now is area 2 is the whole thing. So this is area 2, whole area. So what that means is we actually need to know the measurements for this part and for this side here. So if we have a 50 metre long section of lawn plus a path that is 2 metres wide either side, it would mean that this would have to be 50 plus 2 plus 2, which would give us 54 metres, because you've got 2 metres to here, the 50 there, and then 2 more metres this side. The other way, we would have 35 plus 2 metres here, and then 2 metres here, which would give us 39 metres. So the whole area then is 54 times 39, which is 2,106 metres squared. Now, if we're just looking for the area of the path here, which is this red part shaded in, we would do the whole area, which is area 2. So just to get the path there, we would do area 2, which is the whole thing, minus area 1 because we're taking away the lawn. So we would have 2,106, take away 1,750, and that gives us 356 square metres for the path. Now the question also says find the cost if it is $3 per square metre. So then to do the cost, I'll do that in navy. The total cost will be 356 multiplied by 3 because it's $3 per square metre, which gives you $1,068 to put turf down on that path around the lawn there. So that's a basic video on composite shapes. It covers a few of the simple, straightforward ones, and then it goes into a worded problem. And of course, there are plenty more questions that can be asked, and it's just, if you get a worded one, the best thing to do is draw a diagram if you can. With the other ones, try and work out how to split the shape into shapes that you know before you start, and it makes it a lot easier.